I spent well over 10 hours on the road yesterday. And all that was round trip, of course, half there, half back. And then a good 2.5 hours taking a test. It was a real adventure, I'll tell you. I was tired as tired could be when I got out of there. And really, but still really happy because I had an adventure. I was able to go out on the road. I was able to be with my son for an extended period of time alone, just him and me. And we had a nice time. In spite of how absolutely monotonous that trip was. The drive was just unbearably monotonous. And yet, I seriously smile when I think of it. That's the stuff of life. When you're living your life and raising your kids and doing the daily things, pile after pile after pile of laundry, washer to dryer, fold, drawer, washer, dryer, fold, drawer, over and over again. And there's always those few items that just don't fit right in the drawer. You don't have an actual place for them in the closet. If you have hoarder tendencies like me, you go through that. And you can't quite throw away something that's in good shape or give it away because what if you need it? I've had a hard time with that. I had so many difficulties with just basic living. Getting the motivation to walk over to the washer or dryer and empty it, knowing that all that's left to do next is the very next monotonous step we have done every day of our lives. This drive could have felt like that, but it didn't. You see, while I was driving, I was thinking this is a precious few hours that I have with my son that I'm never going to get back again. He's a full-grown adult man. How much longer do I have before his time is taken up by other people exclusively? And I get maybe an hour here and there, more like 15 minutes of actual conversation, if that, because there will always be someone else in the room. I see it. I see how it was for my mother-in-law when her kids got married. They come home, but they come home with spouses. They don't have alone time with mom, just sitting together chatting. And I'm heading into that phase. I already have a daughter who is married and gone. And I get to see her quite often. But it's not the same, though it's wonderful. Grandchildren, oh my gosh. Grandchildren make it awesome. Nobody could have prepared me for that. There are phases in life. To everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. Ecclesiastes doesn't just say that in the Bible. There really is a time for every purpose under heaven. And this time was a time for my son and I just to spend time together. Just to see the same scenery at the same time and laugh about how absolutely groan-worthy this long drive was. To whine at each other. And to spend time just sharing our hearts. God gives you these moments, these amazing opportunities to just stop in the middle of a world that is full of so much going on. And to just experience life in slow motion, in all its richness and glory. And if you think of it as drudgery, you're going to miss it. Don't miss it. Please don't miss it. There's so much that's going to happen. When you look back, it's going to feel like a snap of a fingers, a whirlwind experience. You will be amazed at how much you did in your life. Just sheer amount of things you could say you did and experienced. So now, whatever stage you're at now, I don't care if you're older than me, take this advice because it still applies to you. As long as you are living on this earth, as long as your feet are here and you're not walking the streets of gold in heaven, it's time to take this seriously. Redeem the time. The word says redeem the time because there's so much of it that tries to get away from you. We while away the time on our phones. We spend time watching TV. People, I'm not saying that I don't do it. I'm saying it's time to stop doing so much of it. Now I started the day with my phone. What kind of hypocrite am I? And I'm moving over to my computer. Further hypocrite. But I'm taking this time to record this because it's important to remember. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind, which means we are not afraid of the world, of experiencing life. We're not afraid of what's to come. If you've been blocking out the future because it just seems like we went from COVID to murder hornets to who knows what next. I mean, hurricanes in the middle of the desert, the plains. Crazy stuff is happening all over the world. And some of us, me included, have kind of shut down a little bit because there's so much going on. It's a little terrifying. It's a little frustrating. It's a little like, what's next? When does our life start again? We've been in lockdown for a long time in this family. And while we do go out for groceries and things like that, we honestly haven't seen a lot of other faces for a very long time without masks on. So, is our life on pause? No, there's still stuff to do. During this COVID lockdown, I started some things in motion. Got signed up for teacher tests, went and took a teacher test, got a lot of my health issues under control, took my health into my own hands, began doing keto, continued doing keto, fell off the wagon, got back on the wagon, and it's all affecting my health in a positive way. But there are still things I needed to deal with. I had to deal with getting a tooth pulled, but they put a fake temporary tooth there, so you don't know it. Getting some cavities filled, dealing with some gum disease that I've got beginning, and some of it's not just beginning. And I've dealt with making medical appointments for myself, lots of them, because I had just let everything slide during all the busyness of daily living. And so I'm catching up on things that I should have been doing all along. Yesterday, I cleaned the air conditioner filters. They were dirty. That should not be happening. If I'm on lockdown, I'm home. I should be able to do it more often, not less. A couple of days ago, I changed the water filter under the sink. It was dirty. Why? I'm on lockdown. I should have plenty of time to do these things. We've been letting things slide. We've been living on automatic. We've been letting our minds get clouded by all the events of the day and all the craziness going on in our society. But there are things we need to do. By the way, my niece is learning how to do my nails, and she's doing little designs. And I've let it go. I've got to catch it and get her back onto it. But it just happens to match this outfit pretty well. So much going on. We're learning, we're growing, we're doing. We're not taking this lockdown as an opportunity to just curl up in the fetal position and wait for life to happen. There's been plenty of us doing that too, especially me. But there's more to do. So let's get activated. Let's get doing. Learn a new skill. Do a new thing. Stop being entertained and get to know your kids and your family. Don't take a defensive posture when it comes to your children. Don't lock yourself up in a corner saying, I don't know who these kids are or how to deal with them. Take a blessing posture. How can I make their lives better today? How can I give them an experience they'll be able to turn back in 20 years and smile at and say, that was really nice. And if you're saying they wouldn't remember it because it's not going to be that big, one of my best memories from my childhood was when Mommy decided that she was going to go out and buy something that we couldn't afford on our budget for the week. But she took some of the grocery money and she spent it. And she was so happy, so overjoyed to have that one little luxury that she hadn't done for so long. But we got low on groceries. And it was the last day of the week before she would get, more money to do the next week's groceries. And there was nothing to cook. And so she went through the refrigerator and grabbed all the leftovers from the whole week and made a pot of soup with it. She put half of a pork chop in there. She put a piece of sausage in there. She put noodles from the leftover spaghetti and rice from the leftover rice and beans. And that was one of the best pots of soup I ever had. I don't remember if it was really that good, but I remember the laughter and the joy we had making that soup and eating it and feeling victorious because we had made it to the last day of the week and we had done it. And she had been able to get that little luxury and make sure we were well fed. So will they remember this moment? Can you make it a moment filled with joy and laughter, with smiles? Try. It's time to get to know our kids again. It's time to really, really look at each other deeply and say, how can I bless your life today? Our spouses. And you'd be amazed at how basic the desire is. For my husband, sometimes it's as simple as running the massager over his back. He really likes that. For me, it's often as basic as making sure I have the right kind of snacks in the fridge. Because I'm going keto and it's very hard sometimes. When on a restricted diet, you tend to eat a lot of the same things and buy a lot of the same things. So every once in a while, having an enlightened 1 gram ice cream in the fridge is a blessing. I'm lactose intolerant, but on keto I can handle tiny amounts of lactose without a horrible reaction. So, guys, whatever it takes, get to know each other. Seek to bless each other. Take some time and look each other in the face. And if you don't like what you see there, then you need to look deeper. You need to try harder. Because our families need us to care, to love them, to be involved, and to be the kind of people who stop looking at their phones and start trying to bless each other. I love you guys. God bless you. Have a great day.